Hey guys, so today, whenever I go to a grocery store, for the most part, at least once a month, I try to pick up something that I haven't cooked in a while or I don't work with often. So Beets was the winner this time when I went grocery shopping. So I'm gonna make, this is gonna be a vegetarian dish, no meat. Although if you do want meat in this dish, I would recommend stir steak. But let's move on. So we're gonna be doing some beets. We're gonna be doing some fingerling potatoes. It's gonna be yum. First, we're gonna start out with these little parts are super yummy. So I want to cut that apart and put it to the side and save it for the end. It's gonna add like a nice crunch and freshness to the meal. So let's just get that nicely cut. And now we're gonna kind of peel our beets. This can get super messy, so like it can stain, which is why I'm trying to like do it on a different surface than my counter. So we're just gonna try to get that part off. Oh, see, I already got it on there. Fun fact, beets used to be used as dyes. I think I was reading about, was it like Japanese culture or Asian cultures where it was first, like at least where I first read about how it was used to dye clothes. It could also be completely wrong. Don't quote me on anything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roast this beet and then I'm gonna pickle it. Pickle the beet. It's actually my first time doing this, but I always know that food has like a science to it, meaning that if you know how flavor works, you should be pretty good in trying different things. So here's the beet. We're just gonna cut it in like little thick segments like that. Look how pretty that is. You know what beets always reminds me of? It reminds me of, you know when I say about a tree trunk, how it has rings and it tells you the tree's life? Beets remind me of that. Anyway, let's get back to what I was doing. And, alrighty. So just like this, I'm actually not gonna do anything. So I'm not gonna do olive oil, I'm not gonna do salt, nothing. I'm just gonna throw this in the oven, have it roast at 375 degrees for about 30 minutes. Alright, so my beets have roasted. So what I'm gonna do now is I have my little mason jar over here. So what we're gonna start with, I have boiling water. So we're gonna put, how much boiling water? About 100 milligrams. Like 150 milligrams of boiling water in here. Like, let's just make it 200 milligrams of boiling water. And then we're gonna add some, yes, apple cider vinegar. About 2 tablespoons of that. Get it in there. And then we're gonna do regular old vinegar. I do the apple cider mixture on there because apple cider gives it like a really nice flavor. So we're gonna do about 3 tablespoons of that. And then I got my peppercorn medley. Got my peppercorn medley. Get it in there. It's not really peppercorn medley, it's just black pepper. I reuse this thing all the time. That's why it's nice to buy in bulk and then just refill. It's really nice and it's green. And then I have some cinnamon. And I'm just gonna do like a dash of cinnamon in there. And then I have my sea salt. And I'm just gonna put about 1/4 a teaspoon of salt. And now we're gonna cut these just in strips like that and like this. And also, if you don't want this to ruin, this is like my literally like my shitty cutting board. If you don't want this to ruin your cutting board, just put a layer of something over it so that it doesn't ruin it. There we go. And then first, I'm gonna take this little sweet darling and mix it. Oh, I forgot one more thing. Alright, don't forget to add your sugar. So let's open this up. Let's open this baby up. About that much sugar. About half a tablespoon of sugar. Get it in there. Oh, now I'm losing it. And then now that we have everything mixed in here and the water is slightly really hot, we're gonna throw our beets in here. Oh, look at that beautiful color you got now. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna let it sit, let it come to room temperature. And then we're gonna put it in the fridge. And then, so you should make this way ahead. You can make this the day before. These beets it's just a quick pickle, so it'll only be good for maybe a week, 2 weeks at the most. But it'll be so yummy, you'll want to eat it up, so that's good. So there's a lot of little things that we have to do for this meal ahead of time before we actually even get to cooking. The next thing we're gonna make is like a yogurt dressing. This is gonna be the base of what our potato will sit on. So I have some plain yogurt here. Just threw it in there. Some plain yogurt. And I got some allspice. Some allspice action. So got that much allspice. Here I'm gonna slam it. Really get it going. I like the idea of it being super fine. And all surfaces are clean before cooking. So that's our allspice. And then got my salt. Not that much. Got some, of course, our black pepper. A lot of black pepper. I have some thyme that is at its last leg. So get that thyme in there. Some of them are still on the little stick, so let's get it off the stick. So we got our thyme in there. And then now we're gonna add red pepper flakes in there. And then I got my olive oil. Get it in there, about a tablespoon of that. And then I got, of course, lemon. And get the seed out first. Get the seed out. Yeah, I keep my lemon, whenever I get a lemon, I always cut it in quarters. I keep it in this so I can just use as much as I need and then it doesn't spoil. It's always weird, where do you keep your lemons? So first, I'm going to zest this lemon. Make sure you don't get the white. You just make sure, because that's just bitterness. And you don't want that. Then squeeze that lemon in. We're getting a lot of flavor in here just through this. So get that zest in there and then squeeze the lemon in. And look at that. Gorgeous. Now I'm gonna mix all that together. All that flavor. It smells so good. And I'm gonna put this in the fridge and let it sit while I'm making everything else. I'm only gonna take it out of the fridge about 10 minutes before I'm ready to serve because you want it to come back to room temperature. So let's give this a little taste. Because you do want to taste it. So I'm just going to give it a little taste. That's good. That's really good. Just needs a little bit more black pepper. And then dash more salt. Just a dash more. And we're done. I'm gonna cover it up with wax paper. And then I take a rubber band and I put that over it. And then it goes in the fridge, just like this. Nice, right? Now, this is the main star of our dish. This is some fingerling potatoes. I'm gonna cut them in half. I'm cutting them in half because, first of all, it'll cook faster. And if it's gonna cook faster, I'm all about it. There's our potatoes. These purple ones are so pretty. Look at that. Alrighty, now we're ready to cook. Alright, so for our pan, it's filled with water. And we're gonna cut it on high. And we're going to add some salt. I'm using some pink salt. Really get it in there. Lots of salt. Nice salty water. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our potatoes. We're gonna put it in that water and let it come to a boil. As soon as it comes to a boil, stop it because you just want it to be tender. You don't want it to become mush. That's very important. So just cover it up and just wait. You guys hear that? It is coming to a boil, which took no time at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these. It's going to be a bit hot. Right? And I'm going to take it out of the water. And then we don't need this anymore, so we're gonna pour this. We're gonna be sauteing our potatoes. We're gonna start with some olive oil, of course, about 2 tablespoons of olive oil right there. And then we're gonna also add, this is about 2 cloves of grated garlic. Get it in there. You want to have this on low heat. Let's lower the heat. On low heat, and then I have some sage. I'm going to throw some sage in there. Remember, low heat with some sage. It's starting to get golden. We're gonna add about a tablespoon of butter to this. And our potatoes. Now we're gonna add our potatoes. At this point, we're gonna add some crushed red pepper, and of course, black pepper. And I'm not going to be adding any more salt because we added the salted butter, and I'm going to be using some cheese, so don't want to over salt. You have to heat up, now medium high. Now we're going to flip them. And we're gonna put it on medium low and just close it and let it suck up all the flavor. I totally forgot. So you do want to keep some of water from when you boiled it. You're gonna add some of that water back in right now. There we go. You're gonna add some of that water back in, and then you're gonna close it. So I'm always giving this a little check. You just want to, once all that liquid evaporates, that's when you're ready to add your cheese and lemon zest. So it looks like it still needs a few more minutes. So it's been a few minutes. As you can see, the liquid is all but gone. I'm going to zest a lemon. And get some of that zest in there. Just so it's brightening. And I'm gonna mix this up. Oh, it's getting nice and creamy. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn the heat up to medium high. And now we're gonna get, now the potatoes are fully in the business. They're here. This looks beautiful. So here we have our Asiago cheese, and I'm gonna pop this baby up. You can use basically mostly any kind of hard cheese. This is like between hard and soft. You can use, and we're going to do a little loving with it. This one is so nice. This is in my way. Since what I'm making is basically a glorified salad, we're gonna need a dressing, but not just any kind of dressing, a very simple dressing, because there's so much flavors going on, we don't want it to fight against what we already did. So I'm going to start with some lemon. Really squeeze just one wedge of lemon. And then I'm going to add like a tiny little teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. This one always trips me up at times. And then of course some salt. And seam that baby. right there. Because who doesn't need some black pepper in their life? And of course, red crushed. And we're gonna add some olive oil. This is just one I had in here, so I'm like, might as well use it. Some olive oil in there, and then we're just gonna close that up and really mix it until it starts to emulsify. Can't say that word correctly, but you know what I mean. And then look how thick and nice it got. I'm gonna give it a taste. Perfect. It's nice and bright, and it won't overpower everything else that's going on. Alright, you guys, remember our stems from our beets? There we go. So we're gonna do a salad. We're gonna top over our potatoes. This is basically all a very big salad. So I have my arugula and spinach mix. I'm gonna add to this right here. That much is enough for one. And then I have my vinaigrette. Just a little bit. I always hate an overdressed salad. I think that's quite enough. And I'm gonna use my hands. I'm just gonna basically toss it all together. And there we go. We have our topping. And all right, let's plate everything up, shall we? Okay guys, so everything is cooked. Now we're gonna put it all together. This is my first time making something like this, so bear with me. So we're gonna start with our yogurt that we made earlier, if you guys remember. So we're gonna start with that. We're gonna put that right in the middle. Create a nice circular. I've had this in my head, so I hope it comes out exactly how I want it to. So there's our yogurt. And then, of course, we have our potatoes. This is our potatoes done. Nice crispy. You can see like the cheese is crispy. So we're gonna get our, so I made a lot, so way more than just for me, but we're gonna get our potatoes in here. I want it to be pretty, so let's make it pretty. Nice fingerling potatoes. Right, got our potatoes. Let's get a bit closer, shall we? Look how pretty that is. Yes, yes, yes. And then now, let's not forget our pickled beets. So let's get that open. Put it in the fridge for a minute. Let's get one or two of the beets. And here it's nice and red. So I'm gonna get our beets on top of that. You don't want it too much liquid. Alrighty, just one more. Oh, look how pretty that's starting to really look. We're building everything up. And then, of course, last but most certainly not least, is our salad. So we're just going to take that like that and put it right on top. And of course, you can't forget our stems. Our stems will go right on top of that. And there's our salad. There's our dinner. Vegetarian. And definitely really pretty and ready to eat.